Campers, it's Miss Jess, and today I'm going to be telling you guys how to play a super fun game called Jailbreak. So, this game should be played outside. You need a really big area to run around, and you're going to need some friends. You have to have at least 4 players because you're going to need 2 sets of teams. But I live in an apartment, so I don't really have a great big area to run around, so I'm just going to kind of explain to you guys the game. So, like I said, you're going to need a really big area so you can run around. You're going to need at least 4 people so that you can split up into even teams. You're going to need a grounded surface. That can be the jail, or that can be like a tree. That can be like a cone. It can be a pole. Just something that you know that that's where the jail is going to be. And then you're also going to need something to mark the finish line. So that's going to be on the opposite end of the jail. So that can be just like a stick, a rope, something like that. So, like I said, to start off, you're going to have 2 separate teams. One team is going to be the police officers, and the other team is going to be the jailbirds. These are the people who are going to be trying to break out of the jail. Once you have the 2 teams set up, the people who are going to be the jailbirds first are going to start with their hands touching the tree that we marked as the jail. So they're going to be starting with their hands touching it. The group that's going to be the police officers are going to be scattered across the yard or the designated playing area. However, they cannot come within 20 feet of the jail, so they can't be standing right on top of them, or else that won't be fair. So once everybody's set up, the jailbirds are going to count to 10. Once they get to 10, they can start running, trying to break out of the jail. As they run, they're going to try to cross the finish line without getting tagged by a police officer. The police officers who are scattered around the yard, their goal is to tag the jailbirds. However, they have to remember that they cannot go within 20 feet of the jail, so they can't just sit there waiting for them. So let's say a police officer tags a jailbird, which they want to be really mindful of the tagging. You want to make sure it's super soft, like butterflies landing on the shoulder. You don't want to push because then nobody's going to want to play. But let's say that a police officer does tag a jailbird. The police officer then has to walk the jailbird all the way back to the tree or the jail, and then once they get out of the 20 feet radius, get 20 feet away from the jail again, the jailbird has to count to 10 and retry to escape from jail. So you really want to make sure that you try not to get tagged, and the police officers, you want to try really hard to tag the jailbirds. So the game is over once all the jailbirds cross the finish line, meaning that they broke out of jail and can no longer be tagged, or so much time has gone by without all the jailbirds breaking out that it's time to switch teams. So if all the jailbirds get across the finish line, then that team wins. If not, then the police officer team wins. You're going to want to switch teams and keep playing so that everybody gets a turn being on one team or the other. So to make this game a little bit easier, if you want to start out on the beginner level, you can have the police officers have a farther distance away from the jail that they have to start. So you can increase that by a couple feet, 5 feet, 10 feet, however much you want to make it. That'll make it a little bit easier for the jailbirds to get going, so that they don't have to worry about being tagged like right off the bat. If you want to take it up to the intermediate level, make it a little bit harder, you can try putting up some boundaries, so you can't run outside of this cone or something like that. It makes it a little bit harder because you have less room to try and get around the police officers. And if you want to take it up to the advanced level and make it super hard, you can set a time limit. So, say if you don't get all the jailbirds across the finish line in under 5 minutes, then the police officers win, which that'll make it a little bit harder. Or you could switch it up and say if the police officers don't tag everybody in under 5 minutes, then the jailbirds win. So you can make it a little bit harder like that, but it's a super fun game that I played when I was younger, and I hope you guys have a great time with it.